All right, everybody, it's Jay. Welcome in. So, in today's video, I wanted to talk about a subject that I noticed that goes on with a lot of people, and I speak up about it sometimes because it gets ridiculous and it gets a bit overbearing at times because I see it just about everywhere. But what I'm about to talk about is called idling somebody. So, idling someone is a very, very bad thing. I can show you some examples of what idling is, and this isn't me talking badly about anybody. This is just me showing you exactly what I mean. So let's dive into some idling, and let's go into how this can be a very, very uncontrollable thing that nobody should do, or just in general, like experience in your life. So let's get into it. All right. So Melanie Mack has a very, very huge fan base. Very, very beautiful woman. Um, any guy in the right mind would just simply say she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. Anything any guy wants to say about her or think about her, it's normal guy behavior. Okay, normal male behavior, especially you know people like women. But if you scroll down into the comment section, you can see some form of idolization here when it comes down to it. Now, for one, I only comment, but when I look down into the comment section, I've seen this guy do it before. You go into seeing that they give her more than a small amount of money for her videos. And I'm not judging them for what they are, but when I see this like every day, then it becomes a bit of a problem. Now, I've been around people who I've actually had issues with people on the internet here who do this quite a bit. And I don't know what happened to them. I haven't heard from them. But like this right here is just an example of idolization. And it's not good. It's not good mentally to be idolizing somebody to that level where you're handing them, money every day. I'm not saying he does it every day, but I think I've saw him do it a few times already. I'm like, man, that's a lot of money to be spending on a YouTuber. So, let me get into another example. All right, so here we have somebody that had been moderating her Reddit page for a little while. Now, I told Melanie Mack that page was up. She's like, "Oh, I really don't want that there." And then, these two were talking amongst each other, and they apparently knew each other and all that, and they had a really deep connection. But on top of it, they must have been really idolizing her, that it's to the point where the person got blocked on almost every platform because he said something along the lines of he loves her. So no I'm not directing any bad toward this guy. Don't even bother this guy. But um, he so he basically said this. I basically explained to him some things, and he's like, I don't know about any of that, but apparently she hates me. Oh, what did you do? Explain it, and then he explained down here. Now I'm gonna go into this, but this became a really weird situation a few days ago because he got so depressed that he even sent me a message. Now, I didn't go and say anything to him after, but it probably really pissed people off that saw it that know him. But he said, I'm thinking of ending it soon. And then he deleted the message, okay? And then he turned around and sent me this. I decided to try to talk to somebody and get some help. I realize I've been making Melanie an idol in my life. I shouldn't have done that. I feel like I'm being set free. Yes, guys, don't make a YouTube star into your idol or simp over them that much. Yeah, they may look pretty behind the screen, but there's a whole bunch of other women in the world that you could be idolizing, not idolizing, but you could be really, really hitting it off with if you don't even go out there and try. Um, but let me break down even more as to what it is I'm talking about here. I think right now, I'm going to go to the other side of the fence and explain what idling is not and how you can care about somebody, but it's not an obsession it's, yeah, you can think somebody's pretty, you can find a girl pretty online, but you can't really go too deep into, you don't get too deep with idolization where I'm coming from. So let me explain. Right, so this part here, I'm going to get at this here for a couple reasons. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going through and why I care, but I don't care at the same time because it's not my place to care. But this whole event right here with Sniper Wolf and Jax Films YouTubers, they both are colliding and both are arguing right now. And she did something apparently that was so bad that everybody just feels to dehumanize her over it. Which, you know, for me, you make a mistake, you're human. You know, even if she was mad, yeah, it may have been a lot irrational. But at the end of the day, again, she's a human being. She probably has life issues going on. We have to remember this. This is why I say don't idolize somebody, because they probably have things you're not seeing, and a lot of people are forgetting that she is a human being. And that's what's really, really upsetting me about this situation, because now she's apologizing for this, which is, you know, which is perfectly fine and normal, but, like, you know, I had a disagreement with a couple people yesterday over this, solely because she shouldn't have had, this shouldn't have been going this far. This should have been, you know, she should have gotten in trouble outside of YouTube, but because everybody on YouTube is going after her, YouTube holds her accountable, you know, because this does involve people from YouTube. But at the same time, you know, the problem here is it's affecting her work, okay? But let's get back to the main key factor here of what I'm talking about. So I got into arguments, not real arguments, but disagreements with people. And, you know, you come down here, and he really got on my case about this. He was like, well, I work for YouTube, blah, blah, blah. This might happen to me, blah, blah, blah. You know, at the end of the day, I'm looking at it this way. Hey, you do you, buddy. I even told him, I was like, I'm not going to change your mind. I'm going to let you continue to think how you want, and you continue to say what you want. But I'm not going to sit there and try to change your mind about this. Now, this is just my thoughts and my opinion. But I find it extremely strange how every guy is going after this woman right now, okay? It's particularly guys. And if you look into the comment section on our YouTube channel, if we go over there, we can find it. So let's go to her page. All right. So the whole internet is just throwing fire at her right now over this, and she's probably going to continue to catch fire, and is bringing her down right now. All right. Again, beautiful woman, but when you look down in the comment section, I comment good, and then people came after me for commenting good. I made a joke pretending she's my girlfriend, and that kind of made people even more angry at her. Apparently, it's not cool to say this kind of stuff. I don't know. I just found it funny, and I was like trying to troll, and everybody kind of just came after me on that. So let's go back in again, go into the comment section, and you're gonna see why I'm kind of just like taking her side, because nobody on the internet actually deserves this. This is like a lot of people calling her a criminal and blah 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 and just this and that. All right. So for me, I'm not actually simping for this. I'm not actually simping on her. For me, it's more like I'm showing everybody that I'm taking her side, particularly because I was thrown into this. I'm not, you know, I find her beautiful, but there are other girls I find beautiful, and you'll see me, you know, if you follow me online, you'll see me communicate with those other girls more, but at the same time, I'm not going out of my way to try to go out in public to see them, because one, you know, until I have an opportunity to like pay to get tickets to go see them, I'm not gonna go see them. That's just how it is. But yeah, I don't. The problem is us guys, we idolize certain girls too much, and my behavior is pissing people off, and I already know that. At that moment, I decided to take Sniper Wolf's side, because I just genuinely didn't care about the situation. I was like, look, if you're going to drag me into the situation, I'm going to take the opposite side and just not care about whose side wins. At the end of the day, both sides, she's suffering from job loss, and him, he's suffering from, you know. But this is the example of why I don't idle, because idling could lead to a lot of stuff. Now we see with Chrono Kick that his idling got to a whole new level, which I don't know who that is, and I feel like I know who that is, but it got to a whole new level where, like, the idling got to a point where when a guy that you know she's gonna like gets near her, you block her every way, shape, or form. You block him in every way to make sure he don't continue to talk to that person. My main goal was to actually have a, at least try to have a personal conversation with Melanie Mac. And it wasn't going to be anything deep. It was just going to be a simple conversation about games and things like that. And I'm not idling her. I'm just, I'm doing what every guy does that likes women, and just not idling her, but what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of it right now. But I guess, like, I could say infatuation, but not into the level where it's like idolizing somebody. Now, Melanie Mac has her own situations going on. Some of the situations got really bad over a year ago. I'm not going to talk about them here. But these situations, they escalate to a whole new level sometimes, and then dudes start becoming delusional, and they'll start blaming other guys of being creepy, being weird, doing this, doing that. Look, you as a guy, you're going to be a little bit weird to women. Because, if you like women, and you find a beautiful girl and you start talking to her, you're eventually gonna go into the weird factor of things where you're gonna do things as a guy, sexually, that just does make it come off as weird. And you know what? That's human nature. That's basic human nature. But when idling gets to a level where you feel the need to condemn people, and you have a lot of hatred towards a person, and you want to try to continue, and you want to try to continue to damage somebody's, like, stuff that they're doing, it becomes really, really sad, to the point where it's like, what are you doing with your life that you are this infatuated by this person? You are idolizing this person to this level. Look, Melanie Mac, Sniper Wolf, they're pretty big on YouTube. Melanie Mac's been big for a while. I've been knowing about Melanie Mac for a long time. But there's a huge difference between idling somebody and admiring somebody. Yes, admiring somebody is what I'm talking about. You can admire a beautiful woman, and you don't have to. You can admire a beautiful woman to a certain extent. Now, when that extent happens, you will then realize it becomes too much of an obsession, and you might actually eventually get in trouble for it with the person you are admiring. And that goes for both men and women. I know women are like that too, where they'll admire a guy and they won't let the person alone. It just becomes completely obnoxious. And what Melanie Mac did to Chrono Kick, if he was idolizing Melanie Mac, was probably for the best. He was probably acting like Melanie Mac was the best person in the world. And there was a guy a little while ago. Sorry, I bumped my microphone. But there was a guy a little while ago following Melanie Mac, and I don't know if that's Chrono Kick or where he is right now. But the guy was just following Melanie Mac to such an extent that, and I was personally being blocked by him and Melanie. It was claimed to be Melanie Mac, and I think Melanie Mac just got rid of him at some point out of her fan base, because she gave him moderation. She gave him a little too much power at the time, and it's fine. I haven't seen him in like a little while, but I saw him recently once during a stream. But it's to the point where when you start idolizing somebody, it does become a bit too much. And you as a person, you as a guy, you should never idolize a woman, because that's not what God wants. God doesn't want you idolizing somebody. But it just becomes this, like, fascination with a person that isn't even, like, you don't actually even know them. And that's why you'll see me, I'll say they look beautiful, and I'll compliment on them, but when you start dragging me into such issues like Sniper Wolf's issue, I'm clearly not going to care. and this is just me being me, because that stuff didn't actually happen to me. I'm not, I'm on the internet. People know of me, but at the same time, I'm not going to take part in an issue that I don't know the full story of. And we didn't hear the other side of the story. We do know that it happened. We never heard anything that happened from Sniper Wolf's side. But this goes to show you, and this goes to show you what position I'm in. I did take Sniper Wolf's side solely because I don't care. But Melanie Mack's story with me was a guy deflecting me from actually getting close to Melanie Mack and getting judgment calls at me like I'm creepy, weird, this and that. And no, I wasn't being creepy and weird. I was just being your average guy, being a little bit flirty. I'm not actually going to have sex across the internet with a woman. No offense to anybody that actually thinks that, but if you really think that, then there's something extremely off with you if you're thinking a guy can have sex through a screen. There's something absolutely off with you. And don't let idling get the better of you to it brings you to a downfall where you end up saying you love somebody that's on the internet and you don't actually know them. So I brought this up because Chrono Kick brought this up yesterday about what he did, and yes, I agree. Don't idolize any YouTubers or anything unless you actually personally know them. Still, don't idolize them. Don't idolize anybody. You can like somebody, and you can find somebody really, really attractive, but learn your boundaries with things like that, and don't say stuff that you shouldn't be saying. My thing is like, guys, if you're dating a woman, always let her say she loves you first, because I learned in the past that if a woman loves you, or if you love somebody, it's best to, and especially if it's a girl, let her say it first. All right. As a guy who's dated many women in my life, I've never said I loved them until they said it first, because I wanted to make sure that feeling was mutual, and when they were ready to say it, they'll say it to you. Because to a woman, when a guy says that to her, it does come off a little bit much, because the guys are normally not the first ones to say they love you. Women are always for me, I think women are supposed to say it first. Now, there's a form of love called caring, where when I actually said it to Melanie Mack the one day, because I asked her, I was like, hey, are you feeling well enough to do your Bible today? And she liked it. And she was like, it's getting, how did she say it? It's getting edited right now. I was like, okay, cool. And I put like, I'm just worried about you, that's all. And after that, she didn't do anything. She wasn't mad about that. Like, genuinely saying you care about somebody as a YouTuber or as a person in general, that's another form of showing love. I want to make sure you're okay, or anything along that lines. Instead of that big L word, say you care, because caring is another form of love. It's just not the big L word. The big L word is a more of an intimacy thing, and it's a connection between two individuals that goes deeper than caring, if you get what I mean. But yes, you can say you care for a person all you want, or you can say you worry about people all you want. It is a form of showing that you care about them. And that's the bottom line with it. Don't go around telling a YouTuber that you love her, because that's extremely weird. And even I won't say that. And I even said it to Chrono Kick. I was like, look, before you say that big L word to her, you should have waited for her to say it to you first. She might not even say that, and I explained to him, I was like, you could have said you cared. You could have said you're worried about her. You could have said anything along the lines of that. That wasn't the big L word, and it would have got across the feeling about things. So be aware of how you feel about stuff, and instead of saying I love you, because sometimes love becomes a really, really weird word. For me, love is said when it's a really close connection between a man and a woman who were just friends and want to become more. There's a big difference. And this is just my feelings and my thoughts on it. But don't ever say you love a woman unless she says it first. And also, don't say it even if even afterwards, don't say it unless you're in a relationship with her, because it's just going to be extremely weird if you are saying you love her and you're not in a relationship with her. Guys, this is a video just directed for us. Be cautious about things. What we say to women, sometimes we shouldn't be saying those things, and, unfortunately, Corona Kick here is a person. I had to break down a little bit of what I'm talking about here to get the difference between idolizing somebody and not idolizing somebody and actual genuine care. See, I genuinely care about Sniper Wolf. I would prefer them not doing what they did to her, but at the end of the day, they did to her what they did to her. I even said to Melanie Mac, which here, let me show you one time I did say it, and I'll come back and I'll give my outro and everything. But let's get into that. Alright, so this is another example of what you could do to show that you absolutely care about somebody and you don't actually know them. Alright, I said this. I hope you're feeling well enough today to do your Bible reading. I hope you're feeling well enough to do your Bible reading today. And I'll show you what video this is on, because this video seemed like she was a little sad in it. That's why I did it. So, and if you come down here, she's like editing it now. I was like, okay, good, just worried about you, that's all. And that was it. So, I'm just trying to give you guys an example of what us guys can say to show women we care about them, or show somebody we care about them without actually saying we love them. Now, this video was the first of the videos that she's been making where it was just a bit off, and she seemed kind of sad at the beginning of it, so that's why I asked her that. So, let me get back to the big screen. Alright, so this page right here got shut down. Mostly because I reported something they did as spam. They should have never sent me this. I was not happy when they sent me this, and it's because they crossed the boundary of mine. This is why you don't cross people's boundaries, because they get really, really upset, and I'm glad this happened to this guy. But let me show you what they sent me. Here on the bottom, they had sent me this, okay? This was an attempt to get me to care about something I just don't want to care about. Again, I am not taking sides of anybody here. Preferably, I think YouTube should clear house, and any internet YouTube drama that there is, not everybody should have to see that. That's just part of the problem, is everybody saw this, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is annoying me, and this is why I'm taking this side. But this person made an attempt to get me to care about something I just genuinely don't care about. And when I broke it down, I was like, 8 million just blaming her stuff like normal. 8 million or so Instagram followers. Again, you come down here, 8 million followers, simps. That's when I was like, I read it, I shoved it away, I took a picture of it, and I showed half of Twitter, because I'm like, I'm tired of this, man. I don't deserve to be in the middle of it. I don't know why anybody even wants to bring me into the middle of it. Because I was doing stuff in my own life when this was happening, so this is the least of my worries, okay? Internet drama is the least of my worries. So, alright, let me just show you what else happened, and why I'm just like, it just escalated. It just kept escalating to a point where even people were getting mad at me. And this is the thing about me. Look, you're trying to get me involved in something, I'm just genuinely not going to care. My boundaries got crossed right here. I said I wanted no drama, none of this. What happens 2 days later? Somebody comes to my messages, sends me that, and I reported it as spam. I'm sick of it. I was sick of it from the get-go. I was like, alright, here we go again. Same few people involved in things, and then getting mad at me about it. Now, again, Sniper Wolf is a beautiful woman, but I'm not simping over her. And my thing is like, I actually, I commented here, and people got mad at me for it. Like, -36, -14. And this is the way the internet is, and this is why I don't really take sides on things, because people are just being irrational and bothering people and harassing people and sending them messages. This is why you should care, blah, blah, blah. Look, we have to understand that some people don't want their boundaries crossed, and when you do this to me, when you tell me how to feel, how to care, you are pushing my boundaries, and I don't like it, and that's why I am acting the way I am right now. Trust and understand, everybody has a boundary they don't like having crossed, and when you do it to somebody, it does really, really upset them, and I'll do something you don't want me to do, and it's gonna piss you off. And I don't care. I genuinely don't care. Like I showed you back earlier, I made comments on her video because I'm sick of seeing her getting braided. I'm also sick of having myself being judged as something I genuinely am not, only because I'm taking a side that people don't want me to take, and that's what they're all going to do. They're going to tell you you're a bad guy for taking a side that they don't want you to take. That's all this is. That's all this played out to be, was favoritism on the internet and genuinely hate towards people who follow the wrong person. That's where this became a thing, and that's where, in general, you can see that my boundaries got crossed. I'm not a fan of it. I'm just tired of it. I already, like, when it started, I was like, I just don't care. That's what I was trying to get across, but somebody had to come out of their way and contact me about why I should care about the other side, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I'm not actually there. Personally, you're all psychologically crazy, all right? This is the internet. You don't live on this place, all right? You may think you do, but outside the internet, if you go outside, there's a big whole world that you could walk around in, which I'm going to be doing here in a little while to go exercise. But my point I'm making here is, do not bring me into drama, because you're going to push my boundaries, and it's something that I don't need either. So, but going back to the main subject. But yeah, as you can see in all three situations, there's been events where I genuinely experienced somebody idolizing somebody. I experienced somebody pulling me into drama twice. And I experienced the direct hate of a group of people who, wanted me to follow a side. Now, all of these things are solely based on boundaries. Understanding boundaries, not being a weirdo about stuff. Just knowing when you're doing the proper thing on the internet, and knowing when you're not being a complete weirdo online. And unfortunately, some people online, they just don't think logically, okay? And this is why, like, I tell a lot of people that I understand things better than most people do, and I think there's a lot of, like, weird stuff that goes online. I've been blamed for stuff myself, and I didn't like it, and I dealt with it for a long time. But then again, I'm also here making this video to try to get you guys to understand how things actually work. So I understand and know how everything humanly works. I didn't take a psychology class, but I understand basic psychology. And when you say "I love you" to a woman, it comes off extremely creepy. Another thing you should not be saying to a woman, and this is an absolute no-no, when you meet her, is asking her the random question, "Well, do you want to have sex with me? Can I see?" Like, just stuff like that. You dudes out there, we act like we don't understand stuff. I don't understand why a lot of us end up acting so outrageously stupid. And part of me knows and understand. I grew up in a traditional valued surrounding, which is where, for me, the way I do stuff is I let stuff in my life happen. I let the girl come to me. I let the girl, let the girls tell me she thinks I'm hot. Like, and there's another way of not pushing boundaries, but don't be an absolute weirdo online towards a human being online. Like, coming into their chat and acting all flamboyant and weird, because that does upset people. Being over the top and outrageous about stuff is, to me, you should know. You should grow up knowing how to treat people, understanding things, and just understanding that the world doesn't revolve around you in any way. So if you say something, to somebody, you just have to reassure yourself that it doesn't always mean it's going to go good. For me, the example was somebody trying to bring me into drama. That wasn't acceptable. I had so many people trying to bring me in that, and then I turned around and caught flack for it because I didn't join the side they wanted me to. That's just, people got to understand. People are meant to make their own decisions, and that's another value you should be learning from this, is learning that you can make your own choices, learning that you don't have to follow everybody, learning that you're going to get a bunch of flack from not following it. But I am probably one of the most rebellious people I know, and it's solely because, I make my own choices solely based upon the way people do things. Like, don't ever try to come to me thinking I'm gonna join your clan and your clique of people going against somebody because you enjoy you think your type of drama is the right thing, right punishment for a person, you know. And with that said, also going back to it, do never tell a woman you love her. Idolization to a person is one of the worst things you could ever possibly do. It even says it in the Bible that we shouldn't be idolizing people. If you have a Bible, there are statements of it. I'm not going to go over and show you it, but it says don't idolize somebody else besides God. That's what the Bible says. All right. And yeah, you can find a girl pretty, but when you start feeding her cash, like $50, $100, stuff like that on YouTube, then you got to realize that you're going into a territory where you think it's okay to either push a boundary or be a super offensive with her or defensive with her. And reality, the truth is you don't. You don't have that capability. And the truth is women will choose the guy they want. If they like a guy, they usually end up choosing them. I'm so used to the girl, giving me signs she likes me. In fact, I personally, I wait till the answers come up. And if a woman wants me to be, kind of perverted and weird with her, I wait till she tells me. That's just simply how it goes. The last girl I was talking to did that exact same thing. She openly told me, and I explained to her, like, I'm not good with this kind of stuff. Can you explain to me when it's okay for me to be a certain way with you? And she did, and it was all fine and dandy. And so I said something that offended her, but I look at it this way. She got offended for her own personal reasons. I'm not going to run and try to figure it out. But it wasn't anything over the top egregious or anything like that. It was more like I said she was testing me on a stream, and she got mad that I said that, and then she just stopped talking to me over it. It just really, really upset her. And what I mean by testing is to see, like, if I'm gonna obsessively text her and all that and try to get her attention. And I'm just not that guy. I'm not the guy that's gonna try to get a woman's attention or anybody's attention in general. And the way everything works for me is I let everything just come to me. That's how it goes. I don't rush out and try to get anybody's attention. You let things come to you, because that's generally, naturally how things work. You can create a big group of people, you can have an inner circle that way, and it's always for the best. That's God's way of putting it into your life. You have to let things come to you. You can't be forceful about it. You can't be an over-the-top weirdo expecting things to go your way, because sometimes being an over-the-top weirdo can lead you into things like the slammer, things like jail, things such as that. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, take this video as a bit of advice from somebody and stop trying to force your way into things in people's life, because at the end of the day, we saw a few outcomes of what happened here, about situations that I had to deal with, and just sitting there trying to understand why people don't like certain things isn't very hard at all. You just have to break it down and try to understand. Would you like that thing done to you? Because if you don't, well, then maybe you should just not act like that. But this is a video to take in consideration. This goes for guys, especially because we have this trouble understanding where we're going wrong. And I'm giving you the best advice possible. So I hope this works. And with that said, guys, I hope you liked this video here. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to bring more content to like this by me, Jay. And also, if you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. You'll get more again from me. Until then, guys, take it easy, and I hope you enjoyed this video and learn something from this. Don't be a weirdo online. Don't be going into scenarios that you don't belong into, okay? Take it easy.